So Greg Knowles goes 6 1/3 innings.
Well, it's been frustrating for Frazier because offensively, when they've had opportunities to score runs, they have not done it. And Florida State, whenever they've had an opportunity, they seem to get them in. A misplay here. Greg Knowles doing a fine job, just not able to get it done tonight.
So with the Banana Boat song in the background, Steve Day will begin to warm up. Day pitched in last night's ball game. He threw only 2 pitches, both of them to Rocky Rao, and on the second pitch, Rao lined into a double play that retired the side, and then Day did not come out for the next inning, so he threw 2 pitches and was credited with 2/3 of an innings pitched. 5 wins, 1 loss, 1 save, and an earned run average of .284 for Steve Day.
He's pitched 50 innings. He's been a starter and a reliever. He struck out 46 in those 50 innings, walked only 14, and given up 34 hits.
He'll be pitching to Alan Bevis, number 1 in the batting order tonight for the Seminoles. Well, I'll tell you, folks are everywhere around here. Got a new knothole gang. Well, I'll tell you, I'll remember my first knothole gang days in Asheville, North Carolina. We didn't have lights then.
Yeah.
Well, we had lights in the house, but they didn't have lights in the ballpark. So everything was played in the daytime. That building is what, about half a mile up the highway from here?
More than that. That's the Biltmore Hotel.
Is that the Biltmore Hotel?
That is the Biltmore Hotel.
I didn't realize that.
Seminoles are staying there. Yes, they are. It's about 2 miles from here. Nice, renovated. That's the Moon. That's a little bit further away.
I didn't realize that was the Biltmore Hotel.
Biltmore is a nice swimming pool, renovated hotel, nice big parking lot, nice golf course.
Yeah, we got the Moon, but we don't have the Hubble telescope, which I understand is finally working. You know, the Biltmore Hotel is also used by the University of Miami for dormitory space, or was.
It was. I don't think it is
Not
anymore. Not since they renovated it. No.
Well, no, this year.
Really?
Yeah, they had a big story in one of the papers here. A lot of students checked into the Biltmore Hotel for dormitory space. It wouldn't be a bad place to stay while you went to college.
I'm told they still use it for some dormitories. So I guess they do.
Yeah.
Only the honor students stay over there, right?
Rick Rayford said, yeah, only for the A students. Rick is our producer director tonight. Write some of those things down. I'll write a book out of them, Rick. 2-0 pitch to Bevis. And the infield saves a run as Tozar throws out Bevis, and there are 2 down. Brock still at third base. And now Mark Ronan, the batter. What golf course is out there around the Biltmore Hotel?
It's the Biltmore Golf Course. Yeah.
Years ago, I used to play out there. They're going to put him on. Mark Ronan will draw an intentional walk. And that'll be the first walk of the ball game given up by Miami pitching. Knowles in 6 1/3 innings allowed 4 runs, and of course the base runner at third is his responsibility. He gave up 8 hits, struck out 2, did not walk anybody. He hit a batter, and he threw a wild pitch.
Ronan, one of the top athletes on the Seminole team, preseason honorable mention All-American. Martin feels as though he'll be a top choice in the baseball draft. He's the best base runner on the Seminoles. He's been on first and third. You may see him stealing second or attempting to steal second.
We'll see Buddy Cribb bat for Brad Parker, too. Buddy Cribb, a left-hand hitter, will come up for Brad Parker now with runners at first and third and 2 out.
Attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. For Florida State University, batting for Brad Parker is number 5, Buddy Cribb. Cribb is batting for Parker.
So playing the percentages, Mike Martin sends up a left-hand hitter, and now Brad Kelly goes out to the mound, and he calls the infield in for a meeting there.
And Mike Martin calls his people in for a meeting along the third baseline. They're talking about men on first and third. Do we want a double steal, delay steal? What do we want to do?
Had more meetings here tonight than the United Nations.
Well, this is two of the top teams in the country right here, and they just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Hurricanes and Brad Kelly meeting on the mound. The current #1 team in the nation, Mike Martin and his Seminoles, the preseason #1 team and currently ranked #6. And the arbitrator, the negotiator, George Macris, the umpire, says, all right, that's enough of this. We got to get this game going. We've been moving this game along pretty good.
Final reminder that tomorrow's game between FSU and Miami.
All right, Buddy Cribb,
At 1:30 on Gate
with a batting average of .356, will bat here for Brad Parker with runners at first and third and 2 outs. And the Seminoles leading by a score of 4-0. Cribb can pop one. He's got 4 home runs, as many as anybody on the club. As a team, they've hit 27 home runs, with Ronan, Cribb, and Felder having 4 each. Well, he doesn't waste any time, goes after the first pitch. Strike one.
Seminoles in this game, we're in the 7th inning. The leadoff hitter has reached base 4 times and has scored on 3 of those occasions. I know you're big on leadoff men getting on base,
Yep.
Frank?
Yep. 1 strike pitch. And in the dirt, the runner from first will advance as Ronan goes to second. No chance for Brock to try to score from third.
Ball is in the dirt. Flores with a nice job of preventing the runner at third from scoring. Ronan does take second base.
And it is a wild pitch. Breaking ball, missing, 2-1.
Well, with first base open now because of the wild pitch, I'm not too sure that the Hurricanes even want to pitch to Cribb, a left-hander. They've got Blanton coming up next. And it's all academic to this point. That's the second run the Hurricanes have allowed by either a pass ball or a wild pitch.
And it is now 5-0. We'll look at it again. And
That ball was just, it should have been caught by Flores. And then the first thing you think of is he was crossed up. He was looking for another pitch. It's the second run the Hurricanes have allowed.
Foul back off the screen.
You sure that screen was there, right?
I forgot about that screen being there. All I saw was that baseball. 5-0.
They score that a wild pitch or a pass ball? Wild pitch?
Wild pitch. The second run that scored on a wild pitch. Right side, Robinson knocks it down. Day covers and takes the throw. But 2 more runs across the plate for the Seminoles, and after 6.5, it is now Florida State 5 and Miami 0. Be right here at the mark. Juan Flores will try to get something started for the Canes here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. As Bob Greasy mentioned to you a few minutes ago, the Canes have not had a runner past second. They have had runners at second base with less than 2 outs.
Well,
Twice.
they haven't had the timely hitting that they have had all year long when they have had a man at second base.
And that's the reason for it right there, Mr. Brad Gregory. He comes in high, ball 1 to Flores. Juan is grounded out to third and second. This one in the air, well hit, left center field. That ball is well back, and it is off the fence and in play. Flores into second base with a double. His 7th two-bagger of the year.
Flores gets all of this one. This ball is almost out. He has not had a home run yet. The center fielder, Blanton, goes right up against the wall. It hits at the very top of the wall, comes straight down. The Hurricanes have their leadoff hitter on at second base.
This is the right fielder, number 34, Donald Robinson.
And now Donald Robinson, who doubled his last time up. The Canes have 6 hits in the ball game, and 4 of the 6 hits have been doubles. You see Donald wearing the eyeglasses that were talked about a while ago.
Robinson is the right fielder that misplayed that ball off the bat of Chris Brock in the last inning.
Look at this brushback pitch.
I don't think it's intentional. It's just they want to pitch him inside. They've pitched him inside all night long.
Robinson called out on strikes in the 2nd, doubled in the 5th. Bounces one to the right side, fielded by Bemis. And there's one out as Flores goes to 3rd.
I think Martin and the Seminoles will gladly give up a couple of outs for a run at this point, leading 5-0.
No question.
You know, it's amazing that the rich history of Florida State baseball being what it is, no Seminole team had ever won 50 games in a single season before Martin took over. And once he took over, he has done it 10 years in a row.
I think we're going to see Maurice Crum come out and bat for Gino Damari.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen, for the Hurricanes. Batting for Gino Damari is number 28, Maurice Crum.
Well, Maurice Crum is announced into the ball game and gets quite an ovation from the fans here. Crum, more noted for his football prowess than his baseball prowess, nonetheless is hitting .250 with a home run and 6 ribbies. He takes a strike.
And Crum, for a linebacker, has a very good eye at the plate.
Nice play there by Grifol. Crum has walked 8 times while striking out 11. Bounces that one to the right side, fielded by Perez, who gets him as the run scores. So the Canes will not be shut out. Juan Flores comes in to score from 3rd base. Maurice Crum out 3-1 with a run batted in. 2 down to Tozar. Tozar tonight has grounded out and walked. I think you still have to marvel over the pitching job done by Brad Gregory in this ball game.
Agreed. The Hurricanes could have moved around the runners that they've had at second base earlier in the ball game and got them to score just like they did this one. It would be a 5-3, 5-4 ball game. But Gregory has done very well when he's had a man in scoring position.
Two and 0 count on Tozar. That's a strike. 2-1.
This series reminds me of the one earlier between these two teams up in Tallahassee, where Miami lost the first game to the Seminoles and Gar Finvold. Came back and played very well in the second game, and then took the third game to win the series 2 out of 3. Florida State is a much different ball club than they were last night.
Oh, no question about that.
Much more confident and playing like the preseason #1 ranked team that they were. And Martin says this is a critical series just to win some games on the road against a very good ball club.
Second walk given up by Gregory, and both of them have gone to Tozar.
Leadoff batter, center fielder, number 19, Orlando.
There's Mike Martin in the center of your screen. 2 outs, a runner at first, and Orlando Palmeiro is the batter. Orlando doubled in the third. He's 1 for 3. Ball 1.
You know, Frank, in the 10 years that Martin has been the head coach of the Seminoles, they have been in the regionals all 10 of those years. In fact, in the 80s, they've hosted 8 regionals and have had the last 7 years have hosted one at Florida State. So the last 7 years they've hosted one and had 8 in 10 years in the 80s. But I don't think there's any question that these two teams will host a regional. Miami is certainly right there. Their attendance has been over 100,000 the last several years, and Florida State is right there. Their next game, they'll go over 100,000 in attendance on the season.
Well, there are 3 Southern hosts, right?
Well, they don't have to be. They move it around.
There
have been that many in the past. Mississippi State has gotten one several times.
Well, I'm told Mississippi State is probably a shoe-in for one. Is that Will Clark School, Mississippi State?
You know, some people feel like because Florida State has had one the last 7 years that they may not get one this year. You know, LSU has an outstanding baseball program. Skip Bertman, formerly with the Hurricanes, now over there, did not host one last year. Oklahoma State, who has an outstanding baseball program, did not have one last year.
Knocked down by Tamayo. He gets it. Not in time. Dozar goes to second. And Palmeiro reaches on an error by John Mark Tamayo.
Initially, they had this marked as a hit, but changed his mind. Tamayo knocks it down and doesn't get it over there in time because Palmeiro, with good speed, is there to beat the throw.
And Martin is on his way out to the mound, not to make a pitching change, but just to get things back in order.
There's Ricky Kimball. Was a starter for most of the season. In fact, Martin has really changed his staff around. In the series earlier up in Tallahassee, Florida State's rotation was Finvold, Chris Roberts, and Ricky Kimball. Ricky Kimball started the 3rd game of the year. But this weekend, Finvold pitched the first game last night. Gregory, who was a reliever, the ace reliever back in that first series, is pitching tonight, and freshman Roger Bailey pitches the last game tomorrow afternoon, so he's really juggled his pitching rotation.
Greg Erickson, the batter, and the pitch is low, ball 1. Greg is batting .400 with men on base, and there are men on base, first and second, but 2 outs. A strike, 1-1. Little geography lesson. Ricky Kimball is from Lithonia, Georgia, which is a suburb of Atlanta, as he warms in the bullpen. Curveball fouled away.
Erickson missed 5 games with that leg injury. Doesn't seem to have his timing back yet at the plate, although he is running very well. In fact, stole a couple bases last night. He was 1 for 5 last night in the ball game.
I saw him limping on one play last night, and after that he stole 2 bases. That's a ball. 2-2. Well, Gregory trying to come back after the error by Tamayo that should have been the 3rd out of the inning. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3, and the side is retired. Erickson left standing with the bat in his hand at home plate. 1 run scores on 1 base hit. There was an error and 2 men left. After 7, Florida State 5 and Miami 1. Freshman from Jacksonville.
Farrell replaces Damari, who was pinch hit for by Todd Crum.
Maurice Crum.
Maurice Crum. I call him Todd Crum.
I know you do.
Every time.
Wind is blowing straight out towards center field now, and probably at the same velocity through much of the ball game. Not nearly as strong a breeze as we had last night, though.
I got to think who Todd Crum is. Somewhere in my mind.
I hope you'll think of it.
I think he was a safety for Michigan State.
Garrett Blanton will lead off for Florida State. He's batting for the first time. One ball and one strike on Garrett Blanton. Garrett has a batting average of .266. No home runs. And 8 runs batted in. Blanton is from Tallahassee's Lincoln High School. That is a strike. And the count is 2-2 on Garrett Blanton. Replaced Chris Roberts in center field for reasons we do not know. And batting for the first time.
We can only guess.
Yep. Did he check it? He did. They appealed to the first base umpire, Jim Cowan. What they say the attendance was 6,375. Isn't that right?
Right.
Wow.
6,375 to go along with 6,482 last night.
Foul ball. Count holds 3-2 on Garrett Blanton.
Last night's attendance was the largest ever for a Friday night here at Mark Light Stadium.
3-2 pitch coming. Back up the middle. And a base hit for Blanton. So again, the Seminoles lead off the inning with a base hit.
Number 22, FSU catcher Pete Griffo.
That's the 5th inning out of 8 that the leadoff man has been on. And the first base hit against Steve Day, who relieved Greg Knowles last inning. Knowles' record, by the way, 6 1/3 innings, 5 runs all earned, 8 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts, 1 hit batsman, and a wild pitch.
2 wild pitches.
2 wild pitches.
Allowed 2 runs. Remember? They were both of them wild pitches. He had 2 runs.
I think the other wild pitch was on Steve Day, though.
Yes, it was.
So 1 for Knowles and 1 for Day. All 5 runs, though, are on Knowles' record.
Just points up the fact that the Hurricanes have not played that well defensively. They have not made an error, but they have allowed 2 runs to score on wild pitches, and the play in right field by Robinson, which turned into a triple, should have been an out, and that hitter eventually scored.
Yep. And so did the man who was on base when Brock hit that ball.
Right.
So there are 2 runs that possibly would not have scored. One of them certainly would not have, because the man should have been out. Down to first base and safe in a close play. Well, Flores putting his arm on display. We'll take another look at it.
Blanton almost falling asleep. Just barely. Good shot there. Right on top. You agree with that, Betsy?
He did get back.
You know, both teams, we've mentioned this a couple of times, like to steal bases. As you look at a split screen of Day and Blanton, like to steal. We have not had a stolen base in this ball game tonight.
Well, we may have one here. And we do, as Blanton.
That's the first stolen base. Let's take a look at it. Blanton gets a pretty good jump. It's his 14th stolen base on the year. The Seminoles had been unsuccessful in stealing attempts in their last 7 attempts until Blanton steals his 14th.
1-2 to Griffo. Fly ball, left field. And there is Farrell for the catch. Tagging and gutting safe at third base when the throw gets away. In fact, the throw may have hit Blanton as he advances after the catch.
The throw was there in time. It was just to the inside portion of the infield towards second base.
Number 24, the first baseman, Eddie Perez.
Ball hit him in the leg, I believe. Had a chance to make that play.
So with one out, a runner at third, and the batter will be Eddie Perez. Now for our Latin friends watching the telecast tonight, I will say this, I've said it last night, and I will again tonight. We realize that it is Pedro Grifol and Eduardo Perez. But both young men have asked that their names be anglicized to Pete Grifol and Eddie Perez, which we do at their request. Pitch comes high, ball one.
And Perez, the son of Tony Perez, the longtime Cincinnati player, wearing the same number, I think, as Tony, number 24.
Yep, Tony wore number 24. And probably still does wherever he is, coaching or. And a suicide squeeze is on. He fouled it off.
Well, Mike Martin. Yeah.
First time we've seen that in a long time.
Martin with a 5-0, 5-1 lead. One out. A little excitement. Likes to run, move things around. Came out the second game of this series. Running, had a hit and run on earlier. Even though they didn't have a stolen base, they were running, moving the players around.
Last night they had two men thrown out trying to steal and another man thrown out trying to score. That ball in the air, shallow right field. Robinson coming hard. He'll not get to it. The ball bounces in for a base hit and gets by Robinson. One run is home. Perez did not realize the ball had gotten away and stopped at second. Now runs again and goes to third.
Donald Robinson really misplays this ball. He obviously has some kind of a vision problem. We told you earlier he misplayed a ball to the top of your screen. Doesn't even attempt to catch it. But now watch this. Well, we're not going to see it. We saw it on the original shot as Blanton scores, but just let the ball bounce right over his head and didn't pick it up. Would have held the runner to first base, Perez. He gets to third base. He didn't wear glasses at the beginning of the season. He had some vision problems, misplayed some balls. They checked his vision. Yes, they got some goggles for him. It looks like his problems continue.
Well, it is now a 6-1 ball game, Florida State, with Perez at third base and an error charged all the way to Donald Robinson.
All the way?
That's what the scoreboard said.
Can't be all the way.
I don't think it could be all the way either. I think it's got to be a base hit. A base hit and an error.
Right.
That makes it a little better. A base hit, a single, and a two-base error. A run batted in for Perez.
I'll buy that. Hurricanes came into this game with a 10-game winning streak, 16 straight at home.
And they're trailing 6-1 here in the top of the 8th. Don Mark Tamayo tried to stop his swing, but he went around. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes. Tamayo has had 2 hits tonight. He also had 2 last night. He scored a run tonight, and he's also been charged with an error.
And if you just joined us, he is playing because of the flu, which starting third baseman Rob Vargas has had.
Again, they have the suicide on. They got Perez hung up. And he's out at third as Flores ran him back into the arms of Fabregas, flipped the ball to George, who tagged him out. They almost waited too long to make that throw, but they got him. So we'll go to the bottom half of the 8th inning now with the score. Florida State 6, Miami 1. Hitter as Mara takes the field. And we'll go to the 9th inning. The Seminoles are leading by a score of 6-2, and when leading after 8 innings, Florida State University has won 40 and lost none.
Number 45, right fielder Chris Brock.
Day to Brock, fouled back, strike 1. Day relieved in the 7th inning. Chris Hirsch is behind the plate for the Hurricanes, replacing Juan Flores. Curveball on a check swing, foul. Brock had a triple in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3. He scored a run and driven in a run. Chris Hirsch, now the catcher, senior from Palm Beach Gardens. 2-strike pitch. High, 1-2. The Hurricanes won last night's ball game by a score of 7-3. Now the Seminoles are leading this one 6-2. Foul on the half swing. Brock struck out in the 2nd, flied out to center in the 4th, and then the triple, the ball was misjudged by Donald Robinson in right field. Well, I say misjudged. He may not have seen the ball. I just don't know. But the ball was misplayed, we'll put it that way. 3-2 count. 40-0 when leading after 8 innings. Speaks well of their bullpen.
They'll sleep a lot better tonight.
High fly ball. Palmeiro chasing back in center. Has a bead on it. Ooh. I'll tell you, that was not a clean catch. You saw a lot of white there. Look, he's looking down at the glove.
Like it's the glove's fault, right?
Well, you know something? It's funny. You know, this year the new rule in the major, it's not a new rule. The rule has always been there. A glove can be no longer than 12 inches from fingertip to the base of the glove, right? A lot of players have been using gloves that were 13 and 14 inches, and now they're going to enforce the rule this year.
I think it's good.
I think it should be enforced. If you make a rule, why not enforce it?
Right.
Why have a rule that you don't enforce?
Right.
Either enforce it or take it off the books and let them use a bushel basket if they want to.
Some guys out there with cestas before long.
Yeah. See where one of the highlight players in an exhibition set a new record for throwing a baseball. I think he threw something like 480 feet with a cesta.
Threw it out of a ballpark, didn't he?
Yeah, up at Pompano Beach, I believe it was, before a Miracle game.
Yeah.
1-1 to Rocky Rao. 2-1. Brad Gregory, there he is, over in the dugout, and those were his numbers. 7 2/3 innings, 2 runs earned, 9 hits, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Foul back.
It's fouled back up here into the booth. The WVUM radio broadcasters down there were ducking a little bit.
They got good hands or not?
Huh?
Or are they ducking?
I think they were ducking. There they are. Little activity down there, little action.
Catch those balls. Strike 3, he was fooled. Rao goes back to the dugout. And that is the second strikeout for Steve Day.
A set of keys, 2 keys. If you think they're yours.
And Rao knew it all the way.
Thank you. Number 1, second baseman, Alan Beavis.
Here's Alan Beavis. He's had a pair of doubles in 4 at-bats tonight. Scored 1 run. And Day, who relieved Greg Knowles in the 7th inning, I think it's pitched pretty well. Take away those 2 wild pitches.
Well, he's faced 9 men, struck out 2, given up 2 hits.
Oh, 1 pitch. Good looking slider for a strike, and it's 0-2. 2 ground outs, 2 strikeouts, and 2 fly ball outs.
He has allowed a run, but that was aided by the air in right field by Robinson.
Struck him out with a breaking ball. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. The score, Florida State 6, Miami 2. Canes leading 16-0. We're in the third inning. That is strike 3, and Villar's out. So are the Canes. They score 2 runs on the home run by Kevin DiGiacomo, and after 3, it's Miami 16, Bethune-Cookman nothing.
She's Janny, this is your big day.
You remember the day at the club?
I beat you, Daddy. Dad?
Well, she was too much for me.
Oh, look.
Look, Mom, it's the Equestrian Center.
Equestrian Center, Karen.
Yeah, Mary Ellen Swenson.
She's cute.
I think she has a crush on you. Really?
Weston by Arvida, the feeling of a great hometown. Homes from the 90s to over 1 million.
Check it out. Ew, look at that. You guys hear something?
You guys are so immature.
Was that your sister? I'm not sure.
Saturday, April 7th, join Sports Channel for some exciting NBA action as Ron Sackley and the Heat battle Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics, live at 7:30 p.m. from the Miami Arena. Don't miss the Atlantic Division rivalry only on Sports Channel, home of the Heat. This game is not available in all areas, so check your local listings. Jeff Alkire has come on to pitch for the Canes, a record of 3-1 and an earned run average of 1.71. 31 2/3 innings. He has allowed only 6 earned runs, 16 hits, walked 14, and struck out 26.
Last week about this time, Frazier used about 6 or 7 different pitchers in getting ready for that Pillsbury tournament up in Minneapolis. He only had to use 4 of those pitchers, and he's getting some of the ones that didn't get into that series some work tonight. Steve Day, now Jeff Alkire. He also wants to get Ciancini. I don't know how long the game is going to go, though. How many innings these pitchers are going to be able to pitch, because the score is 16-0, and we saw Frazier and Randolph talking over there between innings, and it looks like it may be shortened a little bit.
Darrell Page is the leadoff batter. Steve Day worked 3 innings and faced 9 batters. He had 3 perfect innings. Page bounced out to first baseman Kevin DiGiacomo in the first inning. Breaking pitch over but low. 2 balls and no strikes. Greg Coleman is now playing shortstop for the Canes with Henry Villar at second base. There is Coleman, moved over to short. Pitch is low and in, ball 3, and Henry Villar is now at second.
There's Villar. He is the 4th middle infielder. Coleman moves over to shortstop to get some reps at that position. He is the first infielder in at behind the second baseman and shortstop. Tozar and Erickson have played most of the year. It's one thing the Hurricanes have really been fortunate not to have that many injuries. They don't have a lot of depth on the ball club.
Swinging, and a ground ball to third, long throw, not in time and not picked up by DiGiacomo anyway. Anderson from deep at third base made a strong throw, but in the dirt and not in time. That'll be a base hit and the first of the ball game for Bethune-Cookman. Not only the first hit, but the first base runner.
Page just slaps us the other way, and Anderson makes a nice pickup and a good idea to throw the ball quickly. The only chance he had to get him, and if DiGiacomo could have come up with it, would have been a nice play on both ends.
As it is, a base hit for the Wildcats, and the batter now is Rodney Bullard, their shortstop, who grounded out to Anderson, his first at bat. Fouls this one well out of play.
My scorecard certainly does look good on one side and horrible on the other.
Yeah, I can read the Bethune-Cookman side.
Simple, isn't it?
Yes.
3 up and 3 down the first 3 innings.
With only 1 ball off the infield. That was Edward Lamar White's fly ball to right. Big rip by Bullard. Strike 3. That's the first out of the inning and the 5th Wildcat to go down on strikes. Steve Day pitched 3 innings,
Third baseman.
no runs, no hits, no walks, and 4 strikeouts.
Third base.
Now Edward Lamar White, the third baseman, a 300 hitter coming in, flied out to right field in the first. Bouncer off the plate, and it will be a foul ball.
This is the first week that the Hurricanes have been ranked #1, and they really figure to stay in that position. They play Bethune tonight. They play on Friday night against North Florida here at home, and on Saturday night home against St. Thomas. So they don't figure to lose any of those ball games. Oscar Munoz will pitch Friday night against North Florida, and Jeff Alkire, who is pitching right now, is scheduled to pitch on Saturday.
Strikeout number 6 by Miami pitching, and the second for Alkire in the inning.
Next week, the Hurricanes' schedule gets a little tougher. They play 2 home games against New Orleans in the middle of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the following weekend, go up to Florida State to play 3 games against the Seminoles. It's a pinch hitter for,
let's see, this
the
will be
Wildcats.
Winston Heron.
Yeah.
Winston Heron. He's a sophomore from Leesburg. He's a big lad. Let's see. Heron goes 6'3", 220 pounds. He'd make a pretty good target on a football team, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would.
End, wide receiver. A ball and a strike. The count on Winston Heron. Way out in front of the off-speed pitch. And they got the base runner hung up between first and second. And finally, he is tagged out. Darrell Page.
Well, he thought it was
lackadaisical.
Well, he thought it was strike 3. He took his helmet off and was running out to his position. It was only strike 2, and the catcher Johnson fired it down. He tagged him out, and a mental mistake for the runner Page.
No runs, 1 hit, no errors. The mental error, but no physical errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom half of the 4th with the score: Miami 16, Bethune-Cookman nothing.
Who's that?
Our neighbor Orrin. Ever since he got his new Murray, he's been mowing the whole neighborhood.
When you pay good money for a mower, you want it to be tough and dependable.
Does such a good job, we're making the yard bigger.
What?
Does such a
Murray
good...
mowers are as tough as they come, cutting after cutting after cutting.
That Murray's a good buy.
What?
Goodbye.
Oh, say hello to Edna.
Murray mowers, tough as they come.
It's part of the celebration and part of the game. It's a big night out and a warm welcome home. When the job's well done and you call it a day, it's there. And for 80 million responsible Americans, it's simply a good part of the good life. It's beer. A message from Budweiser.
Get into the fast lane with Sports Channel on Tuesday, April 10th at 3 p.m. when the University of Miami hosts the 4th annual Gatorade Grand Prix Track and Field Invitational at the Green Tree Field and Track in Coral Gables, Florida. Only on Sports Channel, home of your home teams. This event is not available in all areas, so check your local listings. That'll be Tuesday, April 10th, 3 in the afternoon.